Hello, midlifers. Long time no see. It's been a while. I did a video, so as I'm trying new things with my format, I thought I would give you a video. So let's get right into it. Superfine tailoring, black dandyism isn't a trend, darlings. With the Met Gala looming, American Vogue has dropped its May cover issues, as you've seen them. I don't know if you've seen them, but there are four covers. And the spotlight this year are the co-chairs of this year's exhibit, which is Superfine Tailoring Black Style. And it's a celebration of Black dandyism in all its unapologetic swagger-filled glory. Pharrell Williams, ASAP Rocky, Lewis Hamilton, and Coleman Domingo all bringing their own delicious flavors to the table, which I'm very, very happy about. I mean, in the last week, I rang all my friends in America, everyone, I'm going to double up on this, but a lot of them I've asked to get me these magazines, all covers, because I want all four covers, and I'm not in London right now, so I can't even check to see if it's available in London. And the last person I asked to check in London just bought me UK Vogue with Billie Eilish on the cover. I mean, no offense to Billie, I do like her, but that was not what I asked for. Anyway, I digress. So, Pharrell, forever the boundary pusher, he didn't even bother with a photo. No, darling, he's painted. And he is immortalized by the brilliant Henry Taylor, this artist that, is getting a lot of buzz and has been getting a lot of hype the last few years. His work is ridiculous. Google him if you can, Henry Taylor. And that to me is just iconic behavior. And that is Pharrell's cover. It's timeless, it's untouchable. Now, ASAP Rocky's cover, that's the one I'm eyeing. You see, ASAP and his missus, are forever my star crushes. It's really neck and neck between ASAP and Rihanna. I'm happy with either one of them, but at different points in my life, I've wanted to be or I've been inspired to dress like either one of them. They've really helped me in that department. So, shot by Tyler Mitchell, ASAP drips in a lush green Oswald Boateng suit. Now, Oswald himself, a dapper dandy if I'd ever seen one. The suit ASAP is wearing, it just killed it. And then crowned with a diamond teal brooch, and styled by none other than the fashion architect himself, Law Roach. Law Don did it again. Say it again. Law Don did it again. The entire spread of this magazine is just a showcase of black excellence. We've got Aaron Pierce in it, Ayo Debiri, Joe Lorenzo, Tiana Taylor, Lakeith Stanfield, all of them, and a lot more others I'm probably not mentioning because I haven't got the magazine, just been Googling it. All styled by Law. And I just need to say that Law Roach did what needed to be done. Shout out to Shori Sheju and Orange Culture, my Nigerian people whose clothes got pulled for this issue, and all the other black designers whose clothes have been pulled for this issue because, you guys, really happy that Law, reached across and got products from all these cool black brands who are just pushing boundaries and just, doing what needs to be done also. Louis Hamilton's cover, that is shot by Malik Bodian and styled by Ib Kamara. That's my own star boy. So, so proud. Long story later, but I know Ib from the beginning of his career. And in this look for Louis Hamilton, he channels the spirit of the late, great Andre Leon Talley. To me, he was possibly one of the most fashionable black men to ever grace the earth. Embodying black style and grace at a time when it was hard to find it in the mainstream media, at a time where everything was just so Eurocentric. And Ib Kamara has dressed Louis Hamilton in Ferragamo. It looked like gospel, it was meant to be. Comando Wingo. Four, like we say in the UK. Like, sidebar, if I were a man, I'd fancy him too. Though we're not on the same team, me and Coleman are on the same side. Like, he stuns in a Napoleonic era suit styled by Max Ortega and captured by Ike Ude. Ike Ude, this is my Nigerian brother, and a dandy as per. He's always been a dandy. I mean, Google this guy, Ike Ude, Ike, last name Ude. He's a dandy par excellent. And just to say big up, because Nigerians in the diaspora, they stay winning, right? But while these covers are serving undeniable looks, I can't fault them. You can't say that the covers are not sick, because they are sickening. They are sick. In fact, I'm gonna go further and say they're diseased, literally, because that's how infectious the covers are. While these covers and these looks are like brilliant, undeniably, I cannot help but ask, like, is Vogue finally catching up, or they just cashing in? Like, I remember, the black issue of Vogue way back in 2000 and what, 7 or 8. It was Italian Vogue who first did this, and that was a time when I know that magazine sales were not doing as good. So I'm just wondering that, the fact that the Met Gala and this issue is all about black dandyism, which I hope they understand is not a shiny new trend, because it's been thriving long before the mainstream fashion decided to pay attention to it. I'm just hoping that it's not one of those flash in the pan moments, and that we're not just helping Vogue with their cultural currency. From the Harlem Renaissance cats strutting down Lenox Avenue to the flamboyant subverts of Congo, Les Sap, the distinguished gentlemen of Bamako, black dandyism has always embodied swagger, history, and resistance. I remember when my friends, the guys from Art Comes First, so Sam Lambert and Shaka Maido, there were tailors who first of all worked with Oswald back in the early 2000s. They helped spark a whole resurgence of African dandy at fashion weeks. Their looks were studied, copied, and suddenly there was a whole movement of black boys turning up at the fashion shows looking dapper as hell. We must, of course, mention Dapper Dan in this conversation. Dapper is as Dapper does, and that's Dapper Dan for you. But I witnessed up close, growing up in Africa, African dandyism, because smart tailoring wasn't a flex, it was just life, right? So, like my father, no exception. Most weekends, we'd visit his tailor in Obalende, Lagos, like a man, yeah, whose scissors were like gold and his eyes were like sharper than his shears. And the safari suits for the heat, the rich, velvet smoking jackets that gave member of, Dave Ruffin's Temptations. My father's wardrobe was quite a rebellion. Like, every stitch was laced with pride. Then there was my Uncle Benji, aka Baba Apollo, a classic man if there ever was one. His white silk shirts pressed, his white cotton shirts starched to the gods, his flared trousers, his little kick flare trousers, and his African dictator leather slip ons. If you don't know what I mean, just Google African dictators from the 80s and 90s and have a look at the slip ons they're wearing. Those leather slip ons with insignia at the side, or like loafers. Legendary. That's how it is. This is African dandyism. You know, if I think about Jerry Rawlings, the late former president of Ghana, in his crisp military presence, even when he dressed down, it was like a white shirt, and he would put over, the traditional African batakari over it, or he was mixing it wearing this really cool version of like military yet casual stuff, you know. And there was like Mobutu Sese Seko, like draped in leopard print. That this president of Zaire, or was it? Yeah, Zaire. You know, forget like they were dictators or whatever, but the Gams, May, the Gams, these guys were bringing it. Before anyone could even say Doremi. These men understood presence long before this Vogue magazine's glossy spread that we're talking about. So why now, you would ask? I mean, I am asking. Is Vogue generally celebrating black style? Or is this another strategic inclusion moment to claw back relevance as, print media is gasping for air? Well, there is a return to certain kind of print media, but it is clear that no one's reading Vogue that much nowadays. So these collector issues are necessary. No one's really paying attention to. Well, they've, whereas this was once an aspirational magazine, the Gen Zs, and definitely not the Gen Alphas, they don't aspire, or they don't think of Vogue the way or like my generation, or even some of the millennials thought about Vogue, you know. So I'm just hoping that, black creativity hasn't been, is not being used for this last, gasp of air situation, because black creativity has been hyped, it has been consumed, and then it's been discarded like last season's collection too many times before. And yes, while it's gorgeous to see these black men and these gorgeous black actors, actresses, celebrities, creatives front and center, with this black superfine tailoring, with this black dandyism, with this African dandyism, let's not get swept away, you know. Vogue has a long history of sidelining black fashion narratives, propping up their Eurocentric beauty standards. So, this cover series, for me, I believe it's the start of a deeper conversation. Or is this just a cultural clout grab? I mean, look at the society, look where we are now. Afrobeats is pop music. Everything black is seen as cool, you know? But let's be clear, black dandyism isn't a trend. No, darling, it never was. It is stitched into our history. From my father, Mr. Owner, rest in peace, Lagos wardrobes, to the streets of Brazzaville, it lives on. Whether Vogue gets that or not, black dandyism lives on. Having said that, I need all four covers so I can keep it for posterity. Gonna move the tone a bit lower slightly and just be a bit more personal. So, Tracy Ellis Ross and the complexity of too late. Now, Tracy Ellis Ross has always kept it real about living a fulfilled life without a husband or with kids. And she's challenged those boxes that society, put on us, the expectation that society loves to place on women. But she's also been honest. And she said in an interview last week, which I listened to, there have been moments of grief, reflections on the part not taken, but not always regret, but an acknowledgement that life is layered. And this thing hit me like a ton of bricks. Tracy Ellis Ross also said she's spoken about the emotional weight of separating your desires from what the world tells you want. And yet, while she acknowledges that these moments, um, of perceived societal lack, or what's perceived as lack by society, she doesn't let them define her. I mean, she's built a life brimming with creativity, with freedom and self discovery. And I would take my hat off to her if my cornrows were just not really bad under this hat. And, you know, she makes it clear that life does not hinge on ticking boxes. I resonated the fuck out of this because for me and many other midlife women navigating the same pressures, when society defines success as marriage and children, this message from Tracy Ellis Ross, it lands like a deep excel for me. It's my life is mine, not yours, mine. So as I said, this is a bit of a personal one because I've had to face I left starting a family too late. There is guilt. There is some guilt. I feel selfish because right now having kids is just not on the cards. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I get pregnant, I get pregnant. But at 46, chances are very, very, very low. I mean, between like three fibroid and cyst removals, the pandemic, being out of work, the timing was just never right, you know. And I know my husband, if he could, he would have carried the child. Like, bless him, he would have carried the child. But the trauma of losing my mom really haunted me for a long time. Like losing my mom as a child really haunted me for a long time. Like, I had this recurring thought in my head: what if something happened to me? Who would care for my child? Sure, they would have their father, but that thought always crept in. Me and my siblings were abandoned, not out of choice, but due to circumstances. And I think my aunties did a great job. Anybody who knows me, know I wax lyrical about my aunties. I write for them, how they stepped in. Even my dad, bless him, he did the best that he could do. And but these circumstances of feeling abandoned anyway, it shaped my worldview. So some argue that that's reason enough to have children, to rewrite the story. But in addition to that, as a parentified child raising your younger siblings since I was like 10, I didn't do it alone, of course, but I felt a huge responsibility for them. And it felt like every part of me felt like I had done with the parenting thing. I'm not going to lie. But the timing also was never perfect. For me, the timing had to be perfect. I like, God forbid, that I had a child out of wedlock. Like, those cultural echoes run deep. And then one day, like, your girl woke up and she was 46. What? No kids. I had to admit to myself that I had put my career first. I put my goals first. The fear of failure, the fear of not being successful, my fear of abandonment, my fear of not being enough meant that I would need to feel settled before I could even consider motherhood. And I know that I am running out of time because I'm way past being a geriatric mom. And yes, you do see that nowadays. People like Janet Jackson had a child at 50. Lo had a child at. Yeah, they're fucking rich people. They can afford to do that. And that they had all the doctors looking after them. They could have been bedridden for 6, 7 months and their bills would still get paid. And technically, I could still have a child now, yes, but the risks are too great. So we've got the gestational diabetes, high blood pressure, which I'm already managing, preeclampsia, miscarriage, stillbirth, everything you could think of that happens in geriatric pregnancies. Those linger in the back of my mind. But for now, I have made peace with it. That I've made peace with being the best aunt, the best bonus mother, the best godmother anyone could ask for. And maybe that's all I was meant to be. Who knows? Adoption, surrogacy, never say never. But for now, I will. So that's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, please consider, going up to paid if you can. I mean, that's my intention that soon everybody who I'm following on this app, on Substack, that I will be a paid subscriber when I can afford it. But if you can, don't forget to follow me. Like, reshare, or restack, and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you very much. Take care. Mwah.